bringing the stories of people just like us directly into your home and learning more about them. This is Trent Speaks. F-I-R-E-D, F-I-R-E-D, fired up are we. Hey, welcome back in everyone to yet another week on the Trent Speaks podcast. Hey, I just wanted to start out by saying a huge thank you. Thank you. I have so many people to thank. First of all, I want to thank all my supporters that I've had thus far. That includes you as a listener. I cannot tell you how much I greatly appreciate you tuning into the Trent Speaks podcast, whether this is your first time or whether this is your 7th time or 8th time or whatever number episode we're on now. I want to give a huge shout out to you. I appreciate all the support and the following, and I can't wait to see where the next few years take me. For those of you that don't know, probably after next year, I am going to quit my job. And Leanne will be graduated from school, and then she'll be working, and I will actually not technically be working. I will be focusing full-time on this, on Trent Speaks, on motivational speaking. And hopefully this podcast will still be continuing, and we'll be talking a year from now still. But I just wanted to start out today saying thank you so much for being a listener. I know there are a couple that listen continuously, my parents, Leanne, Travis, Dylan. It's going to be bad because I'm about to forget someone here, and then they're going to be mad that I forgot them. So to everyone else, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to those that have also purchased t-shirts. I can't even talk. It's probably because I sell those teeth whitening strips in, and they're maybe messing up with my speech right now. You can also purchase a Trent Speaks t-shirt. Those are being sold at cost. I'm not making profit off of them. I'm simply doing them for publicity purposes. So if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out to me at Trent Speaks on Instagram, or you can hit me up on my personal Facebook page. Or you can email me, trentspeaks@gmail.com. I'm using all these P's, and I'm realizing I probably should have brought the pop filter in. Didn't bring the pop filter in for this podcast, so if you're hearing that, then I apologize for that. That is my fault that I'm not using that this week. Shout out to a good friend of mine, Stu McAllister. Stu McAllister is the funniest man in Grand Rapids, probably the funniest man in the state of Michigan. He has a podcast. Go check it out, the LMNOP podcast. LMNOP podcast, one of the two. Anyway, you'll find him, Stu McAllister. He gave me a shout out on his podcast last Thursday, so I wanted to give him a big shout out. Go ahead, go listen to him. You can find him on soundcloud.com. Maybe right after you're done listening to this week's episode, you can go check Stu out, who posts twice a week. So he's got a leg up on me for the time being. We'll see if we can't catch up to him. Though he's on episode like 170 something, so it's going to give me quite a while. He'll need to stop for a few years to give me some time to catch up. Something really exciting happened today, and I'm super excited to share it. Today, as in Wednesday, I'm recording this podcast at 9:39 Central Time, in case you were curious, on Wednesday evening. Something really happened to me on Wednesday. That's how I should have started, actually. Anyway, something happened to me on Wednesday. I'm in a very unique position with my job. So I'm a residence hall director, so I live in a residence hall. I oversee a building. I oversee a student staff. And so living on a college campus, I have a lot of opportunities, especially as a residence hall director, working with a lot of different campus partners, and the things that I'm able to be involved with. Talking to Blake Fly, a motivational speaker that I've been talking a lot to. He actually used to be a hall director, and then after he was done being a hall director for 3 years, he left, and that's when he started his business. So, you know, if he can start his business after being a hall director, then why can't I? So we'll see how that starts to work after next year. So I'm in a unique position because I am able to try and garner a lot of different speaking opportunities while I'm here on campus and while I'm working in this capacity. I walked into the building earlier this afternoon, and one of my student staff members, she's part of an organization here on campus, and she actually asked me if I would be interested in being essentially the keynote speaker at an induction banquet for some of our student leaders here on campus. And so I'm super thrilled about that, super excited for the opportunity I'm humbled that I was even asked in the first place. It's not until the 22nd of April, but I'm already antsy. I was pacing around my apartment earlier, trying to think of an idea based off of the very broad topic I was given. But I'm excited for it, and it's going to be a great opportunity. And this is, as my friend Stu would say, this is my time. This is it. This is my time right here, my time to shine. This is my shot to become a motivational speaker. I mean, obviously not just this one shot. It's going to take a little bit more than that. But you know what? This is my time. It's a start, and it's the start of something new. I don't know the words, but I know it's from High School Musical. All right, so you're probably like, Trent, shut up and just get into it for this week. So I'm going to listen to you and go right ahead and do that. This week's topic is be you, do you. It's not a question. Do you? No, it's a statement. Be you, do you. Be yourself. That's really the basis of the topic this week. Be yourself. Do what you need to do to not have to put on a persona for people, not have to put on a mask for people. That's something I talked a few weeks ago about, was in the vulnerability thing that we were talking about. How sometimes we put a mask on because we don't want other people to see us breaking down, or we want people to see us a certain way and or a certain light. Who cares? Be yourself. Be who you want to be, and just do whatever it is that you want to do in life. Don't let others stop you. Don't let others impede you. One part that comes along with that, though, I believe, is respecting each other. So I'm not saying that you can't be yourself or do whatever it is that you want to do, but you have to remember that when you're in a group of people, you need to be respectful of other people in their beliefs, in their differences, and kind of the actions that you're taking versus the actions that they don't want to take. I had an incident recently where I felt highly uncomfortable in a situation. And it just wasn't good because I didn't feel like everyone in the group was necessarily being respectful of what it was that other people were thinking or feeling, or not even asking what other people were feeling. And so I think that's really where the basis of it starts, is just making sure that you are 100% always being respectful of each other. It's okay to have differences and to have different beliefs, different opinions, different viewpoints, different cultures. It's okay. And I'm not saying you have to agree with everything, or that one person is right and one person isn't right. But at the very least, I believe one of the key values there is making sure that you are always respecting others. Even if it's not something they agree with, but it's something that you have a standpoint behind, maybe you kind of need to dial it back a little bit, or kind of realize the environment that you're in and respecting people. The other part with that too is that, kind of playing along in the same regard, is you don't have to like everyone. You don't have to please everyone. I think that's something that I have a hard time with myself, is always remembering that. And I will say a lot of the stuff that I talk about, both here on the podcast and then I'll talk about once I start giving my talk and everything, a lot of it is stuff that I try to practice what I preach. But I'll be very candid with you. I will always try my best to be candid and open and genuine with you. That sometimes it's honestly hard for me to do too. And I have to remind myself of these things as well. And one of those things is this exact topic. I don't have to like everyone. I don't have to please everyone. And here's why. I'm going to give you a really scientific answer on why. You can't. It's as simple as that. You just can't please everyone. As much as you want to try and please everyone, it's never going to happen. It's never going to be possible. A friend of mine, her mom, Linda, posted on Facebook over the past week. And Linda had posted this article or shared this article that I thought had a lot of really good stuff on it. It is from Bound Blessings, boundblessings.com. The article itself was posted on January 21st, and it's titled Pleasing People. So feel free to look this up. Again, boundblessings.com, or just throw it into Google. Pleasing People was the title. Make sure you click on the right link. But I just want to kind of read you a couple snippets from this article. It's kind of a lengthy article, but not too lengthy. I could read it all to you. But I just want to read you a couple snippets here. And this is how it starts out, actually. Not everyone is going to like you. Accept that now. This is something that has been so hard for me to embrace over the years. There have been times where I questioned why people turned on me, why someone said what they did, why someone wanted to see me fail. It's hard to accept that. It's so easy to want acceptance from everyone. It's easy to get lost in pleasing all the people you meet in life. It's easy to worry about what people think of you. But God did not intend for you to carry that burden. He didn't intend for everyone to be on your journey. It's not your job to please everyone. Stop being so sensitive over other people's feelings towards you. Don't take everything so personal. Quit trying to please everyone and make them happy. You just can't do it. When you try to be who everyone else wants you to be, you risk losing your uniqueness and consequently your excellence. That means a lot to me. And this really hit me. This is something else that is said a little bit later on in the article. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. Again, a couple weeks ago I said vulnerability is the strength in our weakness. We all mess up. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. I said something along those lines, if I remember correctly, a few weeks ago, and here they are right in front of us in an article. So, it's okay to not like everyone. It's okay that you're not pleasing everyone. You simply can't. And sometimes it's hard for us to come to grips with that. You need to make sure that you are doing what is best for you. Again, be you. So be you was earlier. And be you is going to be a little bit later here. But this is like the do you section. Like, do you. Who cares what other people think of you? That's always been my biggest thing. And I remember in college, that was something that I have the journal article somewhere from her that I saved, but that's something even Leanne wrote about after we met very shortly later in an English class in a journal. She had written how that's something that she really appreciated about me was that I try to have that mindset where I don't care what other people think. And Leanne always says like, oh my gosh, that's what you're going to wear out. Like, I don't want to be seen with you. Or like, you really aren't going to, it's the weekend and you're really not going to shower today. No, I'm not going to shower. Who cares? It's the weekend. I'll do what I want. I'll see who I want. I mean, like, who cares? I'm honestly, and Leanne, it bothers the heck out of Leanne. But I'm just that type of person where I'm like, you know what? Who cares what other people think of me? I really don't care. Sometimes I don't care what I look like in terms of like how I dress. Now, obviously it depends on the situation, but people care too much. And sometimes it just bothers the heck out of me because people put way too much thought into stuff. And I say that to some students all the time, just to kind of bring them back down to reality. Like, you're too invested in this. You know, you kind of dial yourself back a little bit. So it's not a bad thing. Just care less. I don't know. The biggest thing you really need to do is take time for yourself, though. So maybe that's what we're lacking right now is we're not doing enough self-care. Sometimes you just kind of need to do a detox, and that can be done in a couple different ways, kind of depending on who you are or what it is that you kind of need a detox from. For me personally right now, I can tell you that Leanne's been getting mad about this, but I've been looking at, so at the end of May, we have a little bit of time right before I start to get into summer projects and everything, but right after the halls close, that I really wanted to take a vacation. I was actually honestly looking at all-inclusives, like down in Mexico. I started looking at other places that I could go abroad, so I was starting to look at London, Greece, Italy, I don't even know where else, but I was in the mindset, and I even emailed my supervisor and was like, hey, I need to get out of here. Like, I know you're not taking time off requests yet, but just a heads up, I think I'm going to be taking time off around here. Just to give you a heads up, and we can talk more later. But for me, I know that right now I need like a vacation detox. So whether I actually go somewhere abroad to get my passport stamped, or even if it's just me going back home for a few days to kind of relax, be with friends, definitely going to go see my friend. Shout out to Bailey. Going to go see her in Ann Arbor. But that's really what I need in my life right now. Same with like social media. I know that that's creepy. Someone's looking at me through my window because I left it open and I'm just standing here talking to a microphone. Social media is something that I know I need a detox from right now too. It's very hard for me to delete social media. And I think one of the hardest parts right now is that because I'm doing the Trent Speaks podcast, I'm trying to make sure I'm promoting and kind of trying to stay in touch with people in motivational speaking. But I'll be 100% honest with you. If I wasn't trying to get into motivational speaking and get that started and using Facebook as my networking ground, I would probably delete Facebook. Just because it's such a time waster, and I've deleted it from my phone a couple of times only to bring it back. I've deleted Instagram from my phone a couple of times only to bring it back. And so I need a detox from social media. There are so many books that I want to read that I just haven't had the chance to read because I get too caught up in getting stuck on my phone and getting stuck on social media. And the other thing too with social media is trying to remove people from my life, which probably sounds really harsh, but sometimes that's what you need in a detox, is just removing certain people. Again, kind of going back, you don't have to like everyone, you don't have to please everyone, you just can't do that. Sometimes I get friend requests from people on Facebook that I've met before, and I won't accept them. Well, some of them I won't accept because they're people within my hall trying to add me, and I have a rule against that. But in other situations, people are trying to add me, and I'm like, you know what? We're only acquaintances, or you're just not someone that I can really see in my network. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Now where the bad part comes in is when people get offended because, oh my gosh, you remove them from Facebook and now the world is burning down and ending. I don't know why people get so uptight about that and why people get so offended by that. Again, it's another, like, I need to practice what I preach, because sometimes I'm like, oh, why did you unfriend me? That's kind of weird. But it doesn't bother me. But some other people, man, they will just blow up at it and they'll get so mad that you unfriended them or that you unfollowed them, because we're stuck in this world where we need likes or we need follows or we need friends. We need that high number on Facebook. And it's sad. I honestly, if I wasn't going into motivational speaking and stuff, I've said this to my wife before, I would get a dumb phone. I would not have a smartphone anymore. I would just get like a simple flip phone and go back to being minimalistic and going back to the good old days. Again, so I could read books and get more done and everything. It's okay to remove people from your life, to unfollow that person, to unfriend that person. You need to do what's going to be best for you. And, there's so much bad news in the world today. So many, feel like every time we turn on the news, there's a school shooting again, or I don't know, all I can think is school shooting or murder or something bad politically taking place. And it's sad. I'll be very frank, it's sad the world we live in nowadays and all the bad news and kids eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms. We didn't need to do that to have fun back then. But sometimes people will take that bad news and they'll sit and they'll dwell on it. And they're like, man, this is such a bad world that we live in, or this is such a terrible world that we live in. And yeah, that's one way to look at it. But it also depends on how you frame your mindset. I'm the type of person where I will try to look for the positive in every single situation. And one of the biggest things is that if you were to really look around, there are stories all around us. There are good things that are happening all around us. Anyone that knows me knows that I am a huge Michigan fan. I'm a huge Michigan Wolverines fan. Die hard. I was wearing my stuff around the campus during March Madness. Everyone knows I'm a Michigan fan. I'll support the maize and blue no matter how well or how poor they're doing. And so a lot of the things you're going to hear me say in the next couple of minutes kind of relate to them, but I'll kind of tell you how they relate to them. And so like I said, there are stories all around us. So really you need to look for the silver lining in this world and look for the positive. A lot of times, really what we need to do is we just need to open up our eyes because there's so much more going on around us, but we get stuck in that tunnel vision of another school shooting or another thing with Trump or another murder or whatever it could be. Open up your eyes. There's so much good going on in this world. Like I said, huge U of M fan, which is why a lot of these are going to be U of M related. But these are just kind of things that as I was sitting here thinking up the topic for this week and having ideas flowing through my head, they kind of just came to me. CJ Baird, walk-on for Michigan. Never made the team, was a walk-on to the basketball team for this year. Came into the game during the Texas A&M game. Was given the ball at the very end of the game and shot the ball, made a 3-point shot, and that place went wild. Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is also a basketball player as well as Isaiah Livers. Oh, geez, this is terrible. Because one of them, this is going to kill me because I can't remember who. One of them made a game-winning shot against Houston. While the other, what game was that? The Loyola game, gave a halftime speech that inspired the entire team to kind of pick it up and motivated them to get the win over Loyola. Speaking of Loyola, that's a story in and of itself. My mom was texting me and saying, I really wish Loyola would have won. The fact that an underdog like that, an 11 seed, can make it all the way to a Final Four, and you got Sister Jean right there, it was hard to root against them. Heck, even if they would have upset Michigan and beat Michigan, I couldn't have been mad because the story in and of itself was huge. And then the final story I want to share is the story of Austin Hatch. Austin Hatch is a University of Michigan basketball player. Sorry, was. Is, whatever it is. But Austin Hatch, was. Okay, so Austin Hatch, if you didn't see the stories on ESPN or anything, he actually was a 2-time plane crash survivor. He lost both his parents in a plane crash on 2 separate occasions. and he was not expected to, or he had to relearn how to walk and talk, and also come to grips with the fact that it was very likely he was never going to ever play basketball again. And then he came onto the court during a Michigan game a few years ago and netted his first point of his college career. Feel free to look up that story more online, but it's those stories that truly inspire us, that show that there is positivity still in this world, that there are good things taking place. I also got a book from my mom recently, and bless her heart, so we're phasing out of our traditional gift giving, and so we get a gift a month to open for the rest of this year. And my April gift, it was like a scroll, so I unrolled a scroll, and basically it said something along the lines of, here's $40, and so there's $40 taped to it, obviously. Here's $40 to help you with your motivational speaking, so make sure you apply this only to motivational speaking. And then I got this book as well called Transformational Speaking. If You Want to Change the World, Tell a Better Story by Gail Larson. And actually it's chapter 2. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I feel this is very fitting to point out that this week's topic was Be You, Do You. This was before I opened the book that I had come up with this topic and all the bullet points. And the second chapter of the book is Be Yourself, Everyone Else is Taken. Be yourself, everyone else is taken. Claiming your gifts and talents. And so I'm very excited to read this book and see where it goes, how it can help me to help you, and kind of get more topics to either talk about here with you on the podcast or to incorporate into the motivational talk someday. So I hope that this week was a little bit inspiring for you. It's okay to make a fool of yourself. It's okay to be yourself, to be you, do you. Last story I want to leave you with for this week. I try to exemplify the be yourself all the time. The key point of my talk is be yourself. No one can tell you you're doing it wrong. And I'm constantly making a fool of myself. I have a lot of stories I could share about making a fool of myself, whether it be dancing in the mall on Black Friday, to a DJ and just randomly dancing with strangers, to the story that I'm going to share tonight, today, is when I first came here to Stevens Point, I obviously wanted to befriend the hall directors. Moving here, it was kind of scary because you don't have any friends right away, and so you're trying to make friends. You don't want to overstep boundaries and be like, oh, I'm hanging out with you too much, or I'm probably bothering you right now. And one night we went out to a local bar that we all like to go to, which has karaoke. And so a couple of them are singing everything, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I love singing karaoke. I'd love to get up there and sing karaoke, but these are people that have never seen me sing before, and I'm going to definitely embarrass myself if I sing in front of them. Anyone that knows me knows I like to have fun, and again, I really don't care what other people think. So I went for it, and of all songs that I could have sang, when I got up to the DJ, I said, hey, can I sing blah, blah, blah? And he starts cracking up. Well, the song I had asked to sing was I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. And anyone who's ever heard that song before knows it gets pretty high up there. And so this was one of the very first impressions, seeing me out in a social setting of what I was going to be like with these coworkers and everything. I'll tell you, that was one of the most fun times I've ever had is singing that. Even at the Oshkosh Placement Exchange this year, at the social, we were all kind of standing around talking. I busted out singing it. Long story short, I busted out singing it right there in front of some candidates and some of my supervisors and bosses and everything. So that was a lot of fun. And you just got to hit those high notes. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. I want to dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Ooh, I want to dance with somebody. All right, that's enough. That's enough. All right, this week I'm going to leave you with a quote from Larry McMurtry. He is a writer. If you wait, all that happens as you get older. Get out there, be yourself, do yourself, be who you want to be, make a fool of yourself, respect each other. You don't have to like everyone and please everyone because you can't. Get out there, be yourself. All right, I'm rambling. See you later. Talk to you next week.